Hello, what is going on, guys? Hockey Guy 1 here. Welcome to my top 30 favorite movies of all time. So since today's my birthday, I thought this was just a perfect time to do this video, since this is a video I've been planning for like a really long time, and since like about 2018 so I thought this was just a perfect time to do it. So let's just get into the list. Coming at number 30, I got The Lion King. Just like all the other movies on this list, this movie is a masterpiece. I mean, it's just so well done. I mean, from the beautiful 2D animation, how the villain Scar is just so good. Simba's character arc from kid to king is really well done. And Pumbaa and Timon are really funny characters and work as comic relief, as well as all the songs in this movie, from the Circle of Life to Hakuna Matata to Be Prepared to Can You Feel the Love Tonight, are all just fantastic songs that work for this movie. And this movie is just a flawless masterpiece, and is one of my favorite animated movies, as well as it's good enough to make this top 30, obviously. Coming in at number 29, I got Jurassic Park. Now, this movie was really hard to fit in this list, which is kind of why I extended it to top 30, because it was really hard to fit things in just a top 10, because I didn't want to leave many movies out. But anyways, back to here. Jurassic Park is just really great. It's one of the best Spielberg movies, and it's really well done. I mean, and the way the dinosaurs are designed, I still hold up to this day, and that one scene where the kids are running away from the dinosaurs is such a classic scene, and this movie is really well acted and really well written, and it's just flawless, almost like pretty much everything else on the list. Coming in at number 28, I got Schindler's List. This movie is just so well made, and it perfectly crafts events of the Holocaust, and has a good telling of real events from the Holocaust, and it's just a really sad movie and really well done. And Steven Spielberg perfectly captured the Holocaust, and just this movie will go on for each generations, and should be shown for each generation because of that reason. And it really portrays the Holocaust, and I think it should be shown to everyone that's on them, because it's just a really sad movie, as well as that scene where it shows that girl in the red coat, and as well as when they show death, which is what made Schindler change his mind. It's just really sad. And I also really like how Steven Spielberg puts this in black and white, so it actually feels like it was actually filmed right then and there, which is really brilliant from Steven Spielberg to do that. Coming in at number 27, I got John Wick Chapter 2. This movie is just so good. I mean, everything about this movie is just perfectly done. The action is really great throughout. It's John Wick's punishment at the end is really good, and now he's running away. It sets up the third movie perfectly. And then there's this scene where John Wick uses a pencil to kill someone in this movie, which is a really well crafted and really creative way to make John Wick kill someone, and it's just really, really great. And John Wick's characters is developed even more in this movie, and of course that's the Santino D'Antonio, which sets up John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, and as well, this movie is just flawless, and nothing else to say about it. Coming in at number 26, I got Skyfall. I absolutely adore this movie. It's really well done. It's one of the best James Bond movies. There's Silva, who's a really great and intimidating villain, and as well as the scene where he blows up the train station, as well as the MI6 building, was just really great scenes really memorable. Javier Bardem is a really great actor and perfectly portrays the character of Silva really well. And James Bond as a character is really well done. And with this movie as well, Daniel Craig's acting is really great. And the action in this movie is just fantastic. And the opening scene in this movie, as well as the song Skyfall by Adele that plays in this movie, is just a really great song that really works for the movie as it just explain what's gonna go on, what's happening for the movie. And then the ending of this movie is just really sad when they kill off Miss M. And it's just a perfect way to kill her off, and it's a really perfectly well done emotional moment. And that's about all I can say about this movie. Coming in at number 25, I got another James Bond movie, Casino Royale. This movie is also a complete masterpiece. It's just the perfect way to retell James Bond, as it needed a reboot after Die Another Day. It was a disappointment. And just, this movie is perfectly portrayed as James Bond in a new style, and I really like how they do take him more seriously in this movie. Yeah, and it just works perfectly. As Daniel Craig's recasting to become him was just perfect. And just, it's really well done. And all the action scenes in this movie is great. Just great and really well done. And then as well as some of the stunts that Daniel Craig had to pull off are really impressive in this movie. And this movie is just beyond perfect and one of my favorite James Bond movies. Coming in at number 24, I got Saving Private Ryan. Wow, the way Steven Spielberg just captures this battle, and it is just perfect. And this is also loosely based off a real event, I'm pretty sure, and it's just captures it perfectly. And just the scene where the captain gets killed off is just really sad. And the ending of this movie where Ryan looks off to his grave at an old age is just a really sad scene, and really well made movie. As well as Tom Hanks and Matt Damon in this movie, both is fantastic in their roles, and it just stands out. And I can totally see how this won 5 Academy Awards, because it's just really well made and just a flawless masterpiece. Coming at number 23, I got E.T. the Extraterrestrial. This movie is just a timeless classic. I mean, there's so many memorable lines like E.T., phone home, and as well as Elliot and E.T.'s relationship is just really well done in this movie. Yeah, and you can actually feel bad for him when E.T. he is in a life-threatening situation in the climax. And it's a well-crafted thing. And this movie is just timeless, especially that scene where they're in a bike and then they fly up in front of the moon. That's just a classic scene, and it's just really memorable and timeless. And there's nothing else to say about it. This movie is just a timeless classic and a masterpiece. Coming at number 22, I got Goldfinger. Now, this is my favorite James Bond movie. It's a timeless classic, and it's really well made. It balances action and silliness really, really well, and it just really works for it. Which is why the Sean Connery movies work for me. And as Sean Connery is just a really, really, really good as James Bond, and James Bond's character is really well crafted in this movie. And then there's Goldfinger, the villain, is really good, and then the Bond girl's name is Pussy Galore in this, and it's just, she's one of the better Bond girls, and this movie is just a timeless classic, and one of, if not the best spy movie. Coming at number 21, I got Goodfellas. This movie is just so well made. You know, I mean, this is based off of a real event, and it's portrayed really well by Martin Scorsese. And then there's Robert De Niro and Ray Liotta, who does really great in their roles in this movie, and is a perfect fit for their characters are based off of in real life, and it's just a really well made movie that shows enough of it and as well as just a really gory movie that's just really well made with all the action and gangster stuff in this movie is just really well made. Coming in at number 20, I got The Matrix. This movie is just so great. I mean, Keanu Reeves nails it in his role, as well as Lawrence Fishburne, and does really great. And then there's Neo, who's just a really great character and really well developed. And there's Morpheus, who works very well as the teacher-like character. And this movie's effects still hold up to this day, which is really surprising. There's rarely ever visual CGI that from like the late 90s and early 2000s that really hold up, but this movie, it does hold up, as it still looks really well to this day. And all the action scenes in this movie is really great. Then there's Agent Smith, who is just a classic villain, and it's just amazing. This movie is really intimidating to do. And this movie's story is really well crafted and really well written, and as well as all the acting in this movie is great, and it's just timeless and one of Keanu Reeves' best. At number 19, I got Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring. This movie started off one of the best trilogies, and it just really works. It's just a masterpiece. Like, there's so many memorable moments, and then there's like Frodo falling down and putting the ring on him. And Frodo's character especially is really well written, as well as Gandalf, who works perfectly, as well as his sacrifice in this movie. Despite him coming back in the Two Towers, still gives him a great sacrifice, and just it's really well crafted in the story. Like there's very little Gollum in this movie, but for what he's in, he's still done pretty well. And Saruman is really well done, as the kind of manipulated villain as he's manipulated by Sauron. And I think it's really well done how they did that. And there's just just the whole event, and just the cliffhanger thing is really memorable, and as it's where they go across the river and continue the journey. And it's really well done. And the visuals of this movie still hold up to this day, and it's really great. It's considering the low budget this movie has, and just the acting from Ian McKellen, especially, is all great. And this movie just started off one of the best trilogies of all time. So that's why it's here. Coming in at number 18, I got Predator. This movie is just a classic. Arnold Schwarzenegger in his role is just great. And then there's Predator, which is really great in this movie as the villain. And this movie is just timeless. And of course, it does have that memorable moment where Arnold Schwarzenegger yells, "Get to the chopper!" And this movie is just timeless and a really great horror / action movie, as it does work perfectly as that. Coming in at number 17, I got Alien. This movie, again, is just a complete masterpiece, like all the other movies on this list, like I keep mentioning. But either way, Alien is just so well made as a sci-fi / horror movie. It just works so well. Like, Xenomorph is a really great horror villain, and it's just really scary when you can do it, and just most of the stuff still hold up, as well as Ripley as the main character being introduced is just really great in this movie. and this movie is just really scary, and all the horror elements work perfectly. And this movie did take off Ridley Scott's career, so there's that as well. Well, and his direction, this movie is just perfect, and this movie is just a timeless classic and a complete masterpiece. Coming in number 16, I got Shrek. I really wanted to put this movie higher on the list, but I just couldn't because the 15 movies above it are just so well made. But this movie is childhood for me, and it's the best animated movie of all time. I watched it over and over and over again, along with the second movie when I was a kid, and when I was like 5, and it's just so memorable. Whenever I watch this movie, I can quote nearly every single line in this, and then there's Shrek, who's a very compelling character as he just is misled, and just this message of this movie really teaches you something, that you don't get judged by your looks and by how you are inside. And I really like movies that send that kind of message, because kids really need to learn messages like that. And just Princess Fiona is just really well done, and her relationship with Shrek is really well developed. And then there's Donkey as the comic relief. I absolutely love him as the comic relief. He's just so funny and is just really great. And then there's Lord Farquaad as a villain who's just a classic and really intimidating villain. And then Shrek and Donkey's relationship is really well developed, as they really don't really like each other that much, but Shrek does appreciate him as a friend over time. And then there's the voice acting, which is just fantastic. Like Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy have really great chemistry, as well as Cameron Diaz has great chemistry with all three of them. And they just work so well, as Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy are really great at delivering comedy, and this movie's comedy especially is really funny, as they do balance adult humor and child humor, making you be able to watch it at any age and still be able to laugh. So yeah, this movie is just really special overall, just really special to me, and just I really love it. Coming at number 15, I have Gladiator. This movie is just so well made. It's loosely based off of a real story, but not entirely, as Maximus wasn't the person. The only really part that's really based on a real story is all the stuff inside of the arena. Yeah, but and either way, it's really a great movie. I can totally see how this won Best Picture. This would be my pick as well. Well, is Russell Crowe is really great in this role, and is really great, and as well as Joaquin Phoenix in his role as well is great. And there's Maximus, who's a really compelling character as he kind of starts as the leader of an army, and then kind of becomes a gladiator. It's really well done how his character is, and as well, this movie has the memorable lines, "Are you not entertained?" That line is just so memorable, and it's just a perfect scene. And all this movie's action inside of the arena is really intense, and the gore in this movie is really intense, and it does portray does it really well. And this movie it's just really timeless, and just one of if not Ridley Scott's best. At number 14, I got Spider-Man 2. Wow, this movie is just timeless as well. Well, it's just was the best Marvel movie for a long time, until a certain movie that's above it that came out. And then this movie's action is just really well done. And this Peter Parker's character is really realistic in this movie, which I really like how they give him realistic elements, like actually having consequences for some of his actions with Mary Jane, and his love story with Mary Jane is even more developed. And Dr. Octopus is a perfect villain in this movie. And then there's Tobey Maguire, who does great in his role. And this movie is just really timeless, and just the visuals still hold up even to this day with Dr. Octopus's things. And this movie, he doesn't really throw out that many jokes, but when it does, they actually work. And that's why this movie is just a masterpiece, and it's still the best Spider-Man movie to this day. At number 13, I got No Country for Old Men. This movie is just fantastic. I mean, in every way. There's Anton Chigurh as the villain, and it's just really well done. And as well as Llewellyn Moss, who's the main protagonist that you follow, is really well done. As well as the sheriff in this movie is really well done. And this movie brings a completely new direction to a Western. It's just really good, and it sets itself apart from most Westerns because there's no final showdown in it, which actually works for the movie in my opinion, as it does make it show that Anton Chigurh won by having Llewellyn Moss killed off screen, and the sheriff just quitting his job. And this movie's action is just really well done, and as well as Javier Bardem in this movie is just so great, and Josh Brolin as well is great, and Tommy Lee Jones, which is great, and the Coen Brothers direction in this movie was just perfect for it, and it's just really well done. And as well as suspenseful moments, didn't even put any music in it, which makes you actually feel like you're in the moment, which I really like how it does that. As you actually do feel like you're inside the moment, and as well as the kills by Anton Chigurh just make him very intimidating. Even the character that Woody Harrelson plays is still a really important character to the plot, despite him just being there and then being killed off. He's still very important to the plot as he's trying to help out Llewellyn Moss here, and I still really like his character as well as Woody Harrelson's performance. And this movie is just the best Western, and it's an absolute masterpiece. At number 12, I got John Wick. This movie is just a perfect action movie. Chad Stahelski is just a really great director, and his direction was really well done. And John Wick's character is just so compelling, as you can see his dog get killed off near the beginning, which is a really sad scene, and that just makes his character feel compelling, as you can get his revenge really well. And this action in this movie is just really great, and the Red Circle shootout scene is just one of the best action scenes in film, and it's just so well done. And as he does show how awesome John Wick's character is, and this movie is just beyond perfect, and I absolutely love every single second in this movie. Keanu Reeves' performance is just really great as he gives his best performance, even better than his performance in The Matrix, and it's just really great how it does it, and as well as the main villain, both Viggo Tarasov and Luciv Tarasov are really great villains, as they are really intimidating, as Luciv does kill his dog, and then Viggo just doesn't really want it to happen, but he kind of has no choice, as John's already after him, and it's just really awesome how well made this movie is as an action film. Coming at number 11, I got John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. This movie, I already said in my review, it's just a total masterpiece. I mean, this movie has the best story in the franchise. I mean, the second best action in the movie, because I still like the action in the original a little better, but the action is still amazing, and it's with a lot of tension to it, as there is all these top assassins going after John, and you don't know if he's gonna win or not. And then the adjudicator is really well done as a villain. And even the Bowery King, as much as he has little screen time, he's still a really well made character. I mean the way his character is done. I mean he's killed off. It seems like he doesn't really have that much character, but at the end is where his character really shows up, where he wants revenge, which makes his character really compelling, and as well as all the acting in this movie, from Halle Berry, Lawrence Fishburne, Keanu Reeves, of course, are great in this movie, and this movie will probably be known as one of the best action movies, and just the best movie of 2019 so far. Maybe so far there could be something that tops it, but so far this is the best. Now we're in the top 10, starting at number 10, Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. Wow, this movie is just a perfect conclusion to who's one of the best trilogies, and there's Frodo's character arc, which is complete, and when he leaves, it's really sad. There's as well Gollum, who's a really intimidating villain in this as he does make the turn in this movie, and it's really intimidating when he goes around trapping Frodo. And then there's Sam as well, who you can relate to, because he knows that Gollum's tricking him. He knows there's something up with Gollum. But Frodo doesn't believe him, but then Frodo realizes he's correct. Well, but then the action in this movie is really great. I mean there's the whole climax where Gollum is pushed down into the volcano. And the ring as well. It's just a really well done on an action scene, and it's just really great. As well as when Sauron is finally defeated, it along with Gollum is really well done. And I really like the scenes. And this movie is just a perfect conclusion to the trilogy, and there's really nothing else to say about it. Coming at number 9, I got Back to the Future. This movie is just timeless, and it's classic. It's just so well made. Robert Zemeckis is a really, really good director with how well made this movie is. This is, without a doubt, the best time travel movie. It's just so well done, and how well the story is. And as well as Marty McFly is a really great character, and is really well done. And as well, there's so many memorable moments in this movie, and it's just timeless. Honestly, that's why it's at number 9. Coming in at number 8, I got War for the Planet of the Apes. Wow, this movie is just a perfect conclusion to this trilogy, and it's a very emotional one indeed. Caesar's death is just really sad in this movie, and it also brings his character arc to an end, and his character arc throughout the franchise was really great. And it's this movie's having his character being relentless. That's because he ended up killing his son and his wife is really well done. And it makes his character really good, as you can actually feel for him with how his character is done. And as well as the main villain, the Colonel, is really great. And Woody Harrelson does a really great job in that role. And Andy Serkis is just really great. And the CGI in these movies, especially this one, is really great. All three of them have really great visual effects, especially this one. I mean, just the looks of the apes is just so well done, and it looks very realistic and convincing, and really impressive in how Matt Reeves did this. Coming in at number 7, I got Logan. This movie is what topped Spider-Man 2, as what I referenced earlier. It's just so well done. Like, Wolverine's character was just very well done, and the climax is just really intense, and then the death of Wolverine at the end is just so sad, and it brings his character to an end, and it's really sad. And then there's Hugh Jackman, and who's really great in the role, and good luck MCU trying to recast Wolverine with somebody better. But either way, back to the movie. I mean, there's Patrick Stewart as well in this movie, which is really great, as well as Professor X's death is also really sad. This movie kills off the two most important characters in this entire franchise, and it's just really sad in how it does it. And this movie would have brought a perfect conclusion to this franchise, but unfortunately we did have to get Dark Phoenix this year. But either way, this movie was a perfect ending, as I don't think there'll be anything that takes place after it, as there really shouldn't be. Yeah, and then this movie's intense action as well is really well done and really gory, and I really like how making it R just really works for Wolverine, and just all the blood in this movie is just really well done, and just works perfectly, which is why this movie is a complete masterpiece. Coming in at number 6, I got Jaws. This movie is a classic. This is one of the best Spielberg movies, and I have so many Spielberg movies in this list if you couldn't tell already, because he's my favorite director. And anyways, Jaws is just so well made. I mean, it starts off really well with that girl getting eaten up without even showing the shark, which is really well done by Steven Spielberg, which is like a really good camera angle. And this movie's just really scary with how it's done, and as well as John Williams scored the dun 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 song is just really good, and really fits the moment. And then there's as well a lot of those directions really well, and the story is well done. And as well as Brody, as the main character, is just really well done. And there's a really great main protagonist for this movie, and as well as the shark as the main antagonist is really well done, and it works as really scary, and it's just overall a fantastic movie. Now we're in the top 5, where these are 5 movies I like to revisit a lot. Starting at number 5, Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. This movie is just a masterpiece. I mean, it's most people's favorite Star Wars movie, but this movie was just so well made. Like this is so well, and how well the plot is structured is just really impressive. And just Darth Vader is even more intimidating in this movie than he was in the original. Well, as it does expand his character. Lando is introduced in this movie, and he's fantastic. Yoda is as well introduced in this movie, and he is really great as a mentor character, and has a lot of memorable lines like the message, "Do or do not, there is no try." It's just a really great message to send, and I really like that. And it's really great, as well as the Battle of Hoth there's just a really great scene, and all these practical effects that this movie uses still hold up, and as well as the action in this movie, like Luke versus Darth Vader, still holds up, and as well, this movie has the most memorable moment in this entire franchise, where the twist happens, where they reveal that Darth Vader is Luke's father, which which is a twist that nobody saw coming, and it was completely shocking, and it's really well done, honey, and it couldn't have been more perfect for this movie as it just makes this movie a complete masterpiece, and everything about it is great. Coming at number 4, I got Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This movie improves from the original in just about every way. Like, the story is very well done, and then protecting John Connor, and ending Judgment Day at the end. This movie has got memorable lines like "Come with me if you don't want to die," or as well as "Hasta la vista, baby." And Arnold Schwarzenegger, as always, is great in this role. John Connor's character is really good. The T-1000 is just one of the best villains in film history, and just the visuals in this movie still hold up, and really great. And the action in this movie is just fantastic, and really well done, and I really love how it's done. And James Cameron's direction is really just perfect for this movie. Coming in number 3, I got Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. This movie is so good. It's my favorite Spielberg movie, and it's just a timeless classic. And it's just so well done. Like the opening scene where Indiana Jones just moves up the thing and sets off an alarm where he's running away from a crystal ball is just such a memorable moment, and it is really well made. And this movie is just really great with all the villain, and then Indiana Jones, as well as his love interest as well, is all really great in this movie. Yeah, and it's just, and there's Harrison Ford in it, in this role. Either this or Han Solo is his best role. I can't really decide between one. And as he's just fantastic in this role. And does really well in this movie. Yeah, and this is just a perfect movie with how well done the story is, and how well done the action is, and it still holds up. And it's very memorable. And the acting and everything is just really great. And this movie is flawless. Coming in number 2, I got Star Wars The Return of the Jedi. Personally, this is my favorite Star Wars movie. I know a lot of people would say Empire, but personally, I really love this movie even more because of how the story was continued in this movie. Like we get to know more about Luke and Darth Vader, and their father-son relationship is more developed, and then we first get the Emperor, we did get him in Empire Strikes Back in one scene, but either way, the Emperor, this is where he's the main villain in this movie, and it's just really great and intimidating villain for this movie, and Yoda's death in this movie was really well done and really sad. And Obi-Wan's character as a ghost is really good for the one scene as he does tell Luke more about how Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker, and I really like that. And it's this movie's plot is really well. It's the first time it's really about saving Jabba and stopping Jabba with Han Solo, and I do feel like that plan is really well done, and I really like how this movie is as well. The Death Star 2 who I don't think it's even better than the original Death Star, but I still really like it, and as well as all the scenes on Endor is really well done. And Luke versus Darth Vader in this movie is my favorite lightsaber duel in the entire franchise. And and Luke's development is really well done, and this movie is just flawless in every way. And coming in at number 1 is The Dark Knight. I'm sure a lot of you probably already know, based on my channel banner and my profile pic, that this is my favorite movie of all time. But it's my favorite movie of all time for sure. I mean, everything about this movie is so good. The realistic tone of this movie and a completely new direction for a superhero movie. I mean, it just works perfectly with how it's done. And Batman's character is really good. And then Joker is just one of the best villain in film history, without a doubt. He's just so intimidating and just really well done on character. And even Two-Face was really well done, despite him barely not really being in the movie, but it's really well done. And the Joker actually winning is something that's rare from a superhero movie, is where they actually make the villain win. And I mean it's really rare to see, and as everything does go to plan, as Gotham City starts to not like Batman, and Batman ends up killing Harvey Dent, and Harvey Dent ends up being the hero, which is really good. And this movie's lines there's a lot of lines in this movie that's really memorable, especially the one-liners from Joker, like, "Why so serious? Do you want to see this pencil disappear?" And a lot of other lines of the Joker said like, do you want to know how I got these scars? Really great. And as well as there are some other quotes that are not from the Joker that are memorable, like it's either you die a hero or you live long enough to watch yourself become the villain. It's just such a memorable whole scene, and just really sad. Honestly, it's really emotional how we end up having Batman become the villain at the end, and Gotham City turning against him. I mean, it's just really sad and how it does it. And this movie's action is really well done, and as well as the interrogation scene is just really great. That scene stands out more than any other scene to me. And all the acting thing, like Christian Bale, Michael Caine, and Gary Oldman, and Morgan Freeman do great. I mean, especially Heath Ledger. He's fantastic as the Joker. Rest in peace to him. As he did die after finishing his lines, as everyone knows by now. And it's just really sad. And the thing about that is, this was his final role, and this was the perfect send-off for him, as he does fantastic in this role. And just everything I said about this movie is what makes it my favorite movie of all time. That was my top 30 favorite movies of all time. What are your top 30 favorite movies of all time? Tell me in the comments below, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.